I'm Roman Yossi of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Dante Fabro of the Nashville Predators.
This is Philip Forsberg of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Colton Sissons of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Eustace Aros of the Nashville Predators.
You're listening to the Renegades of Puck
with Crazy Charlie.
Welcome to the bunker. Welcome to the Renegades of Puck podcast. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. And before we get started with the half step and hockey coverage, first let me direct you to our home website, renegadesofpuck.com. Once you go to renegadesofpuck.com, you'll learn everything you need to know about the show. Once you're good and educated about the show, you click on that merchandise tab, going to take you straight to our classic logo t-shirt and all the gimmicks you've come to know and love and expect from the Renegades of Puck. All still available in our online store, whether that's socks, throw pillows, wall art, bed sets, makes no difference to the Renegades of Puck. After all, we've sold out so that you can buy in. Social media is of critical importance to this independent operation, and we are unaffiliated, so please, it means a lot if you'll help us out on social media. Wherever it is that you prefer, we are really trying to build up our new Threads account. Instagram is our other primary source right now. Facebook, you can still find us there, and we're lingering around on X, but we are not really doing any work over there anymore. So please, if you would support us on those other feeds, we would greatly appreciate that. It means a lot. It doesn't cost you a thing. It doesn't take you but a second. It goes a long way to helping this unaffiliated independent hockey operation known as the Renegades of Puck. YouTube, that's where you can find the show, so please subscribe to the channel. We picked up some new subscribers in the last several days, so we really do appreciate that. We'd love to bolster those numbers and build those ranks up a little bit right there, Renegades. So if you could pass the links along to the show, Renegades of Puck Television, and all of our different segments and all of our different specialty content videos, Spartan stuff, all that stuff, it's all right there on our YouTube channel, and we'd love it if you would join us right there. We've got a virtual tip jar over there on the corner of the desk. You see it. You know it's there. You can scan that QR code anytime you like. There's a couple of dollars in there already from when I got caught swearing a couple episodes ago. So, you know, if we're doing some good work, getting going on a good rant, we got you some good solid information, or you just happen to be entertained by it, please leave us $1. Again, independent, unaffiliated. I can't say those words enough. We need support here at the Renegades of Puck. We're going to keep this thing moving forward. And believe me, we're going to do everything we can to try to do that. So listen, that's going to take care of that stuff. So time for the half step and hockey coverage, right? Let's deliver the goods. It's time for operation number 928. That is right. It's time for show number 928. And at this moment in hockey history, the Nashville Predators currently find themselves in 8th place in the Central Division. After 17 games skated this season, the Predators have a record of 5-9-3. 13 points has them more points out of first place than total points they have combined. We'll go top down from the Central here in just a moment. The Predators are 1-3-3 on the road. It is the third game of a 5-game road trip known as the CMA road trip, known as the Get Your Shit Together road trip. The Predators scored 41 goals this season. That seems like a low number, doesn't it? 56 goals against. It's a goal differential of -15. The Predators will continue the CMA road trip after this game we're previewing in Calgary, Sunday in Vancouver, next Wednesday closing out the 5-game road trip at Seattle, and then going back home to face off, well, I mean, you know, that team, the Winnipeg Jets, who's just easily in first place in the Central Division. That's their one-game homestand before heading off to New Jersey on the 25th or 27th of November. We'll see the Predators hosting the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, the Central Division, before we talk about the Calgary Flames and this particular game matchup, the Winnipeg Jets have lost a second time. Finally, 17 games skated, record of 15-2, 30 points on the season. They are 17 points clear of the last place Nashville Predators. They're 5 points clear of second place Minnesota and 10 points clear of third place Dallas. Then you'll find the Colorado Avalanche in fourth place with 18 points on the outside of the playoffs. Looking on the inside, the Utah Hockey Clubs at fifth place in Central Division with 17 points. St. Louis has 15. Chicago and Nashville 13 apiece, but Chicago holds the tiebreaker in the standings at this moment in time due to games played. So for the Nashville Predators, they'll be facing off against the Calgary Flames. It's the first time this season that these two Western Conference rivals are meeting. They'll meet one more time in Calgary. That won't take place until January the 4th of 2025. There is a stop at Bridgestone Arena before that, December the 10th. So the Predators and Calgary Flames will play once here in November, once in December, and once in January. Then that will be the end of their regular season series. The Calgary Flames, in case you haven't been paying attention to much late night Pacific Division hockey, let's get you updated on everything going on with them. 8-6-3 is their overall record. They do have 19 points. That is fifth in the Pacific Division on home ice. A very respectable record of 5-3. They've scored 47. They've given up 51. Goal differential of -4. Let's talk about their most recent stretch of action. 4 of these 5 games taking place on the road. Only one of them at home. So let's go back to 11-5. 3-2 overtime win at Montreal on the 7th of November, a 4-3 overtime loss at Boston. And then on the 9th of November, a 3-time shootout loss at Buffalo. So 3 road games there, 3 points, all by getting at least to overtime. Then on the 11th of November, they were at home for a 3-1 victory versus the LA Kings. Back on the road on the 12th, the next night, for a 3-1 loss at Vancouver, now hosting the Nashville Predators. The NHL ranks between these two clubs. The offenses not nearly as good as these fan bases would hope. The Predators goals for, I said that number felt low, and it sure does. 2.41 goals per game. That's 30th overall in the NHL, just 2 spots from last in the league. 2.71 goals for Calgary is 24th overall in the league. In the goals against category, the Preds are giving up 3.29 per game. That's 24th in the NHL, while Calgary is only giving up 2.94. That is 9th overall in the league. Shots for, Preds 30.5 per game. That's 12th in the league, while Calgary's only generating 28.6 shots on net per game. That's 19th best in the NHL. When it comes to the shots against category, Predators ahead in this statistical metric. 29.6 given up per game is 22nd best, while Calgary is giving up 30.7 against per game. That's 26th overall in the NHL. Predators do have the advantage in both of the special teams metric right here. In the power play, 21.4% conversion rate, 12th best in the NHL, 12 conversions on 56 opportunities for Nashville, and for the Flames, 7 conversions on 48 opportunities. That's 14.6% and 28th rated in the league. The Flames have the same rated penalty kill at 28th. They've given up 14 power play goals against on the season. 72.6% is their kill rate. 30th rated the number of power play goals against on the season. The Predators' power penalty kill unit, on the other hand, is the best in the NHL in both of those metrics. 91.5% is the kill rate, number 1 overall in the NHL. They've only given up 5 power play goals against on the season. That is also the best in the NHL. When it comes to the individual statistical leaders for both of these clubs, let's talk about the top 5 scores, and then we'll get into the goaltending matchup, or at least the anticipated goaltending matchup. What do you say we start on the visitor side with the Nashville Predators with this one? Philip Forsberg's got 8 goals to lead the Predators, plus 5 assists. That equals 13 points, number 1 on the team in scoring. Roman Josi, 1 goal, 11 assists, though, for 12 total points. Ryan O'Reilly's at 3 and 7 for 10. Jonathan Marchessault, 3 goals and 6 assists for 9 points. Gus Nyquist, second on the team with 5 goals, add 3 assists to that. You get 8 total points. He's 5th on the team in scoring. For the Calgary Flames, your top scorer is Anderson, 4 goals and 7 assists for 11 total points. By goals, it's Jonathan Huberdeau with 6, then add 4 assists to that. He's got 10 total points. Backlund's at 4 and 5 for 9. Kuzmenko, 1 and 8 for 9. And Kadri, 5 goals, 3 assists for 8 total points. In net, Wolf, 5-2-1 for Calgary on the season, 2.84 goals against average, .913 save percentage. UC Saros is 4-7-2 at 2.64 goals against average, a .911 save percentage. Scott Wedgwood got the start last night in the first night of back-to-backs. UC Saros will get the start tonight in Calgary against the Flames. That's got you all set up. Let's go back to last night. It's time for the Rebirth Sports full game recap. The Preds were in Edmonton for a game against the Oilers. It was the second game of the CMA road trip leading into the game we're previewing right now, the third game of the CMA road trip. Makes sense. Very logical like that. And we're going to go back to it. We're going to talk about it. It's coming up next right here on the Renegades of Puck podcast.
Hockey players are as unique as the game itself, and your uniform should be tailored to fit you. Rebirth Sports is your sports apparel tailor. From shells, bags, warm-ups, hats, hoodies, branding, and more, let Rebirth Sports be your custom hockey tailor.
And don't forget to tell them they do more than just hockey.
Rebirth Sports on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Rebirth Sport, a match made in hockey.
It's now time for the Rebirth Sports full game recap. Go all the way back to November the 14th of the year 2024 when the Nashville Predators were in Edmonton on the second game of their 5-game CMA road trip to face off against the Oilers. Head coach Andrew Burnett deploys his lines of defensive combinations in the following way: Forsberg, O'Reilly, and Stamkos, Marchessault, Sissons, and Nyquist. Tomasino, Parson, Evangelista, LaRue, McCarron, and Smith make up your fourth line. Your defensive pairings are Shea and Yossi, Luzana and Carrier, Del Gaizo, and Chen. Scott Wedgwood gets the start on the first night of back-to-back games for the Nashville Predators on the road. We're 43 seconds into this game in the first period, and it's Wedgwood coming up with save on Nugent Hopkins' first shot on goal of the game. And then at 109, Wedgwood another save save, this time on Draisaitl, the Pred killer of all time, Leon Draisaitl, that is. I think that's his official title. 147 of the first period, though. It's Colton Sissons getting the first shot on goal. No, he's picking up a penalty. I'm sorry. 2 minutes for slashing. Colton Sissons off the box. 2 minutes for slashing. 147 of the first period. Wedgwood comes up with a save on Draisaitl yet again at 8:21 of the first period. This is what I was jumping ahead to. Michael McCarron gets the first shot on goal of the game for the Nashville Predators, and it happens to go into the net for his second goal of the season. It was a deflection of Roman Josi shot, and what a deflection it was from out of the high slot area. The Nashville Predators take the lead early in this game, 1-0 over the Edmonton Oilers on Michael McCarron's second of the season. Past the halfway point of the first period, and it's 11:23 now. Wedgwood comes up with a save on Nugent Hopkins, and there's not been a lot happening out there. The shots on goal, very limited, but in a burst of activity, things are about to pick up quite quickly. 11:55 of the first period, it's Pickard coming with a save on Tomasino, and then at 12:20, Wedgwood comes up with a save on Leon Draisaitl. Third shot on goal already in the first period for Draisaitl. 14:12 of the first period, it's Pickard coming with a save on Philip Forsberg. At 15:09, Wedgwood, a save on Connor McDavid. 16:39, Philip Forsberg would hit the post, getting a really good look at the net. 17:44, Pickard comes up with a save on LaRue's drive to the net. Great to see LaRue fighting and competing that hard to get through and find some space. And then at 18:47, we find Wedgwood coming up with a save on McDavid. The kick out prevents the puck from getting across the crease to the backside, where there were plenty of options, and they were open. The 18:59 mark of the first period, Marchessault off the box, 2 minutes for tripping. Wedgwood would come up with a save on McDavid before the end of the first period. The Predators hold a 1-0 lead at the end of one, but Edmonton is out shooting Nashville 11-9. Again, a fairly inactive first 10 minutes of the game. We did have a penalty, a power play, and a goal, but other than that, just not a lot of activity going on out there. In the second half of the period, the activity certainly picked up. The carryover of that power play in the second is for 59 seconds. Edmonton would not generate any shots on goal, but you can see they're already starting to buzz here in this second period. Colton Sissons is off to the box at 1:02 of the seconds, or a hooking, and it's going to be Skinner immediately off to the box, 2 minutes for holding the stick. This creates a 4-on-4 for a minute and 55 seconds. Wedgwood comes up with a save on Draisaitl at close range. A big save right there, but McDavid victimizes Wedgwood just moments later with the sixth goal of the season. It was a 2-on-1 with Draisaitl, and it was also Connor McDavid's 1,000th point, and you got to give your stick taps to that moment in time, and everyone did as they paused the game and held things up for a minute. The Oilers tie things up at 1 apiece at 5:30 now of the second period. The Oilers are continuing to buzz, and Nurse picks up his first goal of the season. It was a sharp angle shot that catches Wedgwood somewhat off guard. Nurse, a good job right there to pounce on the situation. The Oilers now have a 2-1 lead and are dominating the first 5.5 minutes of the second period. At 8:28 of the second, it's Wedgwood coming up with a save on Henrique. At 10:10, Wedgwood comes up with a save on McDavid plus his rebound. Follow-up at the 12:21 mark of the second period. It's Wedgwood coming up with a save on Kulak. 14:51, we find Perry off the box. 2 minutes for cross-checking Luke Evangelista. Yet another dirty play, but in the same broadcast, they will say things like, he's a gamer, he's a warrior, one of the best of all times. Yet Corey Perry consistently with some of the dirtiest plays and dirtiest stick work that I've ever seen, and he consistently gets just a slap on the wrist for it. Corey Perry off the box, 2 minutes for cross-checking Luke Evangelista's beautiful face and almost damaging it. If you had damaged that face, Corey Perry, then I don't know. I don't know what might have happened from there. Wedgwood would have to come save on Janmark off of the rush. That's right, Janmark, the shorthanded scoring opportunity. The Preds wouldn't generate a single shot on goal. As a matter of fact, the power play would look pretty abysmal out there. 18-16 in the second period. Now Carrier off the box, 2 minutes for high staking. The Preds parade to the penalty box, continues their shorthanded again. Josi, tremendous penalty killing out there on his shift, keeping the puck down in the other end of the ice, tying players up. He should have drawn the evening up penalty at some point on this. He was hooked. He was held. There were a lot of things going on. He was slashed. But that'll take us to the end of the second period. It is a 2-1 lead for the Edmonton Oilers, and the Oilers out shooting the Predators 26-13. So the Predators only 4 shots on goal in the second period, but the Edmonton Oilers 15 17 total shots on goal. Just like we started the second period, we start the third period with the Edmonton Oilers on a carryover of a power play. It's a brief one, 16 seconds, barely enough time for anything to really happen. So we move on to the 50-second mark, and we find Wedgwood coming up with a save on Corey Perry, 4:55 in the third. Wedgwood comes up with a save on Connor McDavid, 5:29 of the third period. It's Pickard coming up with a save on Luke Evangelista. That's the first shot on goal of the period for the Nashville Predators. So again, another period in a row consecutively where the Predators had 5.5 minutes of not being able to generate hardly anything towards the net. We're at 10:07 now of the third period. We're more than halfway through the third, and it's Pickard coming with a save on Tomasino, plus the follow-up by Luke Evangelista. The young kids on the third line doing a great job generating offense, trying to get the Preds back into this one. We go all the way to 17-12 now in the third period on the backside of the sheet, and we find Cole Smith is on a partial breakaway off of LaRue's feed, and Cole Smith is finishing. It is the Predators tying the game up at 2 apiece with just over 2.5 minutes to go in this game. We find the 17:48 mark now of the third period. It's Wedgwood coming up with a save on McDavid. A dangerous scoring opportunity for Edmonton, trying to turn it back on and pick up that win in regulation, but it would go to overtime. At the end of regulation, tied at 2 apiece, the Oilers out shooting the Predators 32-22. So just to go back, the Predators had 9 shots on goal at the end of the first period. They had 13 at the end of the second period, and they had 22 at the end of regulation. So for the Nashville Predators, just simply not getting nearly enough shots, not enough quality shots. We're into the overtime session now, 3-on-3, 1:35 in, and it's Wedgwood coming up with a save on Hyman, 2:17 now into the overtime session. It's Pickard coming up with a save on Nyquist at 2:32 of the overtime session. It's Nurse coming up with this second goal of the season, second goal of the game from the sharp angle, beating Wedgwood. The Oilers come away with the 3-2 victory on home ice, and they outshoot the Nashville Predators 34-23. The Edmonton Oilers turned it on starting in the second period, and at different times in this game, they showed that they can absolutely dominate and take over, and things continue going poorly for the Predators against the Edmonton Oilers, but the Predators do fight back late in the third period for a second game in a row. They do pick up a point in a building that's been very difficult for them to secure points in over the last few years, and they wrap up the season series by at least getting a point from Edmonton. Out of the 6 points that were available against the Oilers this season, the Predators only pick up 1. The Oilers, because it was an overtime game, 3 points split between the two teams, the Oilers pick up 6 out of 6 points against the Nashville Predators in the regular season series. So that's it for the Preds and the Oilers. I don't see a scenario where these two teams meet in the playoffs. I don't want to see a scenario where these two teams meet in the playoffs, but the Predators, the word playoffs, they're a last place team right now. That's a long, long ways away. But hey, 3/4 of the season to go still. So Predators follow the Oilers, but they do pick up a point by getting to overtime for the second game of this road trip. 3 more games go on the CMA road trip. We got to break it down. We got analysis, box score, so much more coming up right here on the Renegades of Puck podcast.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm Tracy, owner-operator of Strong Style Fitness. And that's me and my training assistant, Rizzo. And we are here to bring you fitness that meets you where you are by offering circuit classes, bar-inspired classes, Tabata workouts, boot camps, guided stretching, and more, all taught by a certified personal trainer, me. To learn more, go to our website, strongstylefit.com. Subscribe on YouTube at Strong Style Fitness. Follow on social media at Strong Style Fit. But most importantly, let's get you moving. It doesn't matter if it's your first workout or you've been doing it for years. Strong Style Fitness has the workout that meets you on your journey and helps you along the path to a happier, healthier life. I understand where you've been, what you were going through, and where you were going, and I want to take you there. We'll see you on the mat. Mwah.
Welcome back in Renegades of Puck podcast. Let's talk about that game that happened in Edmonton. Quick turnaround. Predators in the middle of a quick travel from Edmonton to Calgary. So let's break down what happened against the Oilers. You already know the preview against the Flames. And let's get out of the bunker because you've got another game coming up on this here Friday night. So Wedgwood in this game, 31 out of 34. You know what? Strong first period, strong third period, but the Wedgwood second period sag happened again, and it seems like it's a somewhat consistent thing. During the long change for the Predators, they seem to sag a little bit in the second period, and with Wedgwood in net, it seems to be dramatically worse. So Wedgwood gave his team a chance to win. He gave his team a chance and helped them secure a point in the standing. So you know what? Wedgwood has had better games. He's had worse games. This game was all right. He did the job he needed to do. He gave the Preds a chance. He got them to the overtime frame. There's nothing he could do on that shot there in the overtime, and he got beaten by, Connor McDavid for his 1,000th NHL point. So for Wedgwood, again, not a bad performance overall. Cole Smith, first skater of analysis for this one. You got to mention it when he gets the game-tying goal in the final 3 minutes of the game on the road, and it's only his second goal of the season. Well, for Cole Smith, you got to give him the credit on that. Only 2 shots on goal and 2 hits, but those were helpful in securing his team a point. And when your fourth line is generating the game-tying goal with 2.5 minutes left in the game, that is a very, very important moment. Depth scoring is supposed to be depth scoring, but sometimes, when it's come down to the last couple of minutes and you just need one, you'll take it from anywhere and from anyone. And this time it was Cole Smith coming through for the Predators and helping secure his team a point in the Saints. Michael McCarron scored the other goal for the Preds. And you know what? From the bench to scoring a big goal, the first goal in this game, nice deflection right there. And Michael McCarron seemed like he might have been about to get the Dante Fabro treatment and might be on his way out the door, not just on the bench. I mean, it was an embarrassing moment and performance the last time he faced this Oilers team, and I'm surprised he got another chance, but he picks up a goal. It's an important goal, and again, the fourth line generating both of the Predators' goals in this game. They're supposed to be depth scoring. They're supposed to chip in. They're supposed to help out with the details. They shouldn't be the only scorers in the game. Where were the first 2 lines? I'm leaving the third line out of this because the third line was performing at a pretty good level, and that's what you expect out of guys like that. But when Michael McCarron and Cole Smith and LaRue are the ones generating the points, they were the only forwards to put up points in this game. 2 defensemen picked up an assist in Yossi and Luzon. We'll get to that later on, though. We're getting the box score. So Luke Evangelista, I do want to point his performance out as far as one of the forwards. I told you I was leaving a third line out of that over critique of the first 2 lines. 5 shots on goal in 12:36 of time on ice. He has been noticeable multiple games. And you know what? He took that cross check from Corey Perry. He earned his team a power play at an important moment. And that was a nasty, nasty hit to take. He was willing to take that hit because he was putting his face into the hard areas. That beautiful, beautiful face of his was being put into the greasiest of areas. And Corey Perry is one to easily take a shot when it's presented to him. And he took another one and he got caught. And I'm glad that he ended up in the box. But Evangelista, I thought his performance overall, not just this game, but in the last, so let's just say 5 games since he's gotten back into the lineup, it's just very, very, very strong performances. The captain, Roman Yossi, 1 assist in this game. He's got 12 points now on the season. That's second on the team, only 1 point behind Philip Forsberg. And I feel like the last couple of games on this road trip against Utah, back at home, the Roman Yossi is moving with more fluidity. He's carrying the puck more. He's generating more offense. His passing has become more dynamic. What I'm trying to say is the first 10 games of the season, I didn't see Roman Yossi yet. He was still warming up. I think Roman Yossi in the last 7 games has really started to turn into the normal Roman Yossi that we come to know and love and expect here with the Renegades of Puck. And I think he's going to continue heating up. 12 points in 17 games is pretty damn good for a defenseman. We've been a little spoiled at times with someone the caliber of Roman Yossi, but I think this is the beginning of what is going to be a big run. Once Roman Yossi gets heated up, he usually multi-point games in several out of a stretch. He usually puts quite a few points on the board quickly. That's the Predators' need right now. Their offense is so deficient, 30th in the NHL in goals for. Power play is starting to slip. With all that talent, with all that skill, they need to be better. But Roman Yossi right now, another assist in this game, 12 points, and I think he's heating up. And you got to pause even our show for just a second to recognize Connor McDavid's 1,000th point. But you can still point out that while that is a dynamic moment, and Scott Wedgwood is now in the NHL Hall of Fame with that great photograph of McDavid beating him for that goal. I'm sure that picture will hang in the Hall of Fame with Connor McDavid's exhibit someday. But for Connor McDavid, it is highly impressive what he has managed to do at this point in his career. He has piled up 1,001 points because he picked up a second point later. 1,001 points already in his NHL career. But you know what? Still 1,800 points short of Wayne Gretzky. So Connor McDavid may be in conversation to be the greatest player of this era, but he's still 1,800 points behind the greatest player of all time, who happened to spend much of his career on the same team as McDavid. And what he hasn't done that Gretzky was able to do, the amount of Stanley Cups. Connor McDavid's still without a Stanley Cup. So, yes, celebrate Connor McDavid's 1,000th point. It is impressive, but I am quite sure Connor McDavid would rather have success in Stanley Cup championships rather than accumulation of points. And at the end of the day, he's still far, far behind doing anything that would be considered the greatest of all time. The greatest of this generation is only 1/3 of the greatest of all time. That's not quite to be decided yet. So we pause the show to recognize Connor McDavid, and I guess pull the shade right over the top of that compliment. Backhanded? That's what it was, probably. Stripe Digital Solutions is a great friend, and that's not a backhanded compliment. They really are a great friend, great partner of the show, and they have helped keep us in business for 5 years now. We appreciate them. Stick, tabs, love, and respect. Stripe Digital Solutions. We'll be back after this with the box score and so much more. The digital environment can be quite intimidating, time-consuming, and cumbersome, especially with all those other areas that need attention at your business, and that's why Stripe Digital Solutions is here to help. I know, because that's exactly what Stripe Digital Solutions did for me and the Renegades of Puck. From designing my home website and helping me create my merchandise to special event posters, brand building, and social media management. But it's not just that, it's so much more. Stripe Digital Solutions has helped me every step of the way, from startup to full-time operation. Stripe Digital Solutions has been there to assist and advise every single step of the journey. In today's fast-paced world, the path to success is having a strong digital partner, and nobody is better in the trenches than Brandy and Stripe Digital Solutions. Get the solution before it's even a problem with Stripe Digital Solutions. All right, I'm getting antsy. I want to get out of here. I want to do some stuff. So let's get through this box score nice and quick and let you guys onto your Fridays and then get to that Calgary game, because that's coming up quick, just a couple hours away now. Michael McCarron and Cole Smith are your goal scorers for the Nashville Predators. All your points from the forwards coming from the fourth line. LaRue picks up an assist. Yossi and Luzon pick up assists. Shots on goal. Luke Evangelista picks up a total of 5 shots on goal. He's the only one I circled on the list. What did the Predators finish with? Finished with 23, so -5. That would mean 18 shots on goal for the rest of the Predators team. A couple with 2, Marchessault, Parsonen had 2. Parsonen with 2. I like to see that. Oh, Tomasino actually did have 3. I missed circling that. I should have circled that. So Tomasino, again, that third line, that good young third line. God, remember how much fun it was when we got to cheer for the third line underdogs and all the young players last year, and they were underperforming, yet nobody was nearly as upset as they are this season with the proven winners on the roster. Okay. Anyway, block shots, 2 is the highest by Phil Forsberg. Holy shit, they only blocked 6 shots total. 1 by Evangelista, 2 by Forsberg. That's 3 of them right there. 1 by Carrier. These have to be undercounted. 1 by Yossi, 1 by Luzon. Only 6 block shots for a game? Something's not right about that. Hits, 2. Also the highest. Preds not exactly filling the box score in this one. Let's go straight to the time on ice leaders. 19:05 for O'Reilly, 19:02 for Philip Forsberg, 16:04 for Steven Stamkos. The defenseman, quite a different story. 24:50 for the captain, Roman Yossi. 22:54 for Carrier. 22:35 for Luzon. 21:25 for Brady Shea. So only Del Gaizo and Shen at the 15-minute mark. Everyone else quite high on their numbers on the defensive side side of things, the power play was 0 for 2 in this one. Their power play time on ice leaders were 108 for Evangelista, 102 for, that's got to be Ryan O'Reilly, and 101 for Nyquist, and then 111 for Brady Shea, and 54 seconds for Yossi. The penalty kill was perfect in this game. 4-4, the number one penalty kill unit in the NHL. They deserve the credit. Let's talk about the ice time leaders. Cole Smith not only scores the game-tying goal in this game for the Nashville Predators, but also leads the team in total shorthanded time on ice with 347, and then 313 for Michael McCarron. So again, your 2 goal scorers are also your leading time on ice leaders shorthanded. That is not the typical formula for it. 343 for Luzon, 316 for the captain, Roman Yossi, shorthanded, 223 for Shea, 219 for Carey. Got too much shorthanded time on ice for this Nashville Predators team. But overall, give the coaching staff credit in a night where they had to come back in the third period, in a night where they looked like they were starting to get pushed around very much so in the second period. They evened things out enough to secure a point, and even with the overtime, the Predators coaching staff did a really good job of not having a single forward over 19 minutes and 5 seconds. And while some of the defensemen and defensive numbers and the shorthanded time on ice got a little bit high, still a really good, reasonable job on the opening night of a back-to-back. And you used your backup goaltender to pick up that 1 point. So if UC Saros can go into Calgary, pick up the 2 points tonight, the Predators will secure 3 out of 4 points in the back-to-back, and the coaching staff will look pretty damn smart about how they plan to go into this 24-hour stretch of hockey. Scott Wedgwood, 31-34, 3 goals against, 9-1-2 save percentage, 27 EV saves, 2-3 power play saves. That shorthanded save, man, that was a big one. It didn't get talked about nearly enough on the show, but deserves the stick taps for that one. What else is in this box score? I mentioned the power play was 0 for 2. Want to see improvement on that. The PK, 4 for 4. You can't get any better than that against McDavid and Draisaitl and the number of highly skilled characters. That PK going 4 for 4, incredible stuff. They did give up a 4-on-4 goal, but that's a different thing. Face-off winning percentage, Preds back up over 50 at 52.6%. 19 hits is okay, not good. Should have been more physical in this game. Should have competed harder. 6 block shots, 5 takeaways, 21 giveaways. Sloppy on the puck again. It's been a consistent thing. So let's close out on this. 50% so far. 2 games into the get your shit together road trip. The Preds have picked up 2 out of 4 points. 1 against Colorado, 1 against Edmonton. 2 teams with some of the most lethal scorers in the NHL. And the Preds spent a lot of time in the penalty box in both of those. Had to come back in both games, found a way to pick a point. Calgary, this is an important one. Too early for must wins. But when you're a last place team, you got to get points. You got to find a way to do things positive. And if this truly is the get your shit together road trip, then the Predators need to pick up a victory in Calgary, Vancouver, Seattle, somewhere. The victory has to come somewhere. I think two of the 3 games, if they are able to secure 2 of the 3 games and get victories in those, then I think the Predators have a very successful road trip by collecting a couple of these early points. Find a way to win this game in Calgary, and I think it's going to go a long way. But well, it's not a must win. What is a must is the Predators. I made reference to it, how last year the team was full of youth and underdogs and enthusiasm, and the crowd was behind them, and they just seem to play harder. They seem to compete harder. They seem to have more of that dog in them, a little bit more grit, if you will, and I just don't see the Predators. Look, the numbers are revealing themselves. The Predators are not being hard enough to play against. Teams are taking advantage of that. Only 6 blocked shots and 5 takeaways, 19 hits in this last game. The Edmonton Oilers were having their way. They were possessing the puck. They were controlling the pace. They were controlling the zones. And the Nashville Predators had to do everything they could to fight back with a couple of fourth-line goals in order to secure a point. So the Predators have to engage like I feel like they're still feeling it out, and we're 17 games in, going into Game 18 tonight in Calgary. And the Predators, I don't expect them to have a playoff type of energy and feel, but they have got to get out of this preseason feel that they have for large stretches of games. They just don't feel like they're competing. I can give you a shift last night where 2 guys were competing hard, and you'll remember it because it was noticeable. And LaRue, trying to fight his way through and split the defenders and go to the net hard, ends up getting pushed, whacked, hacked, fights his way through, gets a shot on net, falls on the goalie. So many good competitive things happening right there. If only like the Predators competed like that, player by player, shift by shift, for 60 minutes, my God, it would be entertaining to watch. Roman Josi on the penalty kill. Roman Josi doing so much individual hard work on that penalty kill, trying to even that out, trying to draw a penalty against Edmonton. Again, getting hooked, getting pulled down, driving to the net hard, shorthanded. Those are the types of shifts and the types of effort I want to see the Predators dial it up. I'm going to say it properly. Swear jar, you're going to get your cut for this one. Dial it the fuck up already. Come on. You're in the middle of your road trip that could determine if your team remains together for the rest of this season. I would go out there and play like you are fighting for your team's life. Start that in Calgary. It just hasn't been happening. It didn't happen in Denver, didn't happen in Edmonton, but still just enough fight in them to come back and get a point in both of those games. All right. Op 928's in the books. Let's get out of here. Let's get you to Calgary. Let's get back in the bunker tomorrow. Let's break this down. Let's find out if they got some more fight in them. They have to. They have to. We can't go through 3/4 more of a season of the Predators in preseason mode and having their top players not be engaged in games. Again, 2 fourth-liners scoring the goals in this most recent game is not going to do it when you're taking on McDavid and Draisaitl. You need your big guns to fire against their big guns. Well, Michael McCarron and Cole Smith were the big guns in this one. Thanks for bringing the guns, at least. Episode 928's in the books. I appreciate your viewership, appreciate your time. Most importantly, I appreciate each and every one of you. Have a great Friday. Enjoy your hockey tonight. We'll be back in the bunker on Saturday morning. I'm your host, Captain Crazy Charlie Saunier. Stick taps, love, and respect. Swear jar, don't worry, you're getting paid. I'm going to get some money now.